Hi, welcome back to watching. This is another rookie Major League Debut pitching edition. This one is with the Boston Red Sox, none other than Mr. Jake Bennett. Let's get to meet him. 6'6", 234 pounds. Originally drafted by the Nationals twice, but the time that he signed was 2022. He was a second rounder. He's from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He went to the University of Oklahoma, so Oklahoma through and through. Bixby High School. 25 years old, 150 days old. 25 years, 150 days old. He makes his debut on the strength of a very, very good start to the season here in Worcester. Made 5 starts, .86 ERA, 21 innings pitched, 12 hits, only 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and 16 strikeouts. So a little low, actually, surprisingly low. On the strikeouts, looks like in the minors, he's averaged 8.6 strikeouts per nine for his career. Very low walk totals, including this year, 1.3 walks per nine, only 5.1 hits per nine. So that's a stellar 0.714 whip. So that's really, really good. He is ranked as the number 6 Red Sox prospect coming into this season. See what it has to say about him here. Fastball grade is a 50, slider 50, changeup 65. That's a very high changeup grade. And 60 control, which, we see with that walk rate. Overall, 50. Bennett was a teammate of Cade Horton, Cubs fame in Oklahoma. They got to the College World Series in 2022. He had a Tommy John surgery after getting drafted, and he was traded to the Red Sox this winter in December for a big-time prospect, Luis Perales. So this was an interesting one-for-one move. Red Sox get the lefty, Jake Bennett. The changeup is what he's known for. So far this season, he's been dominating, but not necessarily with strikeouts. So very curious to see how this works out. So what are we about to watch? He pitched in his debut tonight, 5 innings. This game is ongoing, by the way. 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a homer, 85 pitches. So did a great job, only allowing 1 run to come across on a solo home run. Looks like it was Carlos Correa in 5 frames, 85 pitches. That's an awesome debut. Really fun debut. And he leaves with a chance to get that first career win in the first career game. All right, let's look at the breakdown on this guy. 26 changeups. That's the hallmark, according to the scouting report. 26 sinkers. Okay, so I'm thinking east-west here. But then there's 22 four-seamers. What's the metric on the four-seam? Looks like only 12 inches of induced vertical break with 11 horizontal. So, yeah, I think he's going to be low slot would be my guess. Changeup and sinker both at 4 and 5 IVB respectively. Very low spin guy. Curveballs, he threw 9 of those. Cutters, 2 of those. So only 22% whiff, but I don't think this guy's going to be known for his whiff based on the stats that we've been looking at. Let's see. First pitch strike, 65%, 13 of 20. That's solid. Right at league average. 51% zone rate. Got 33% chase, which is nice. Looks like plenty of chase on the sinker and the curveball. Really zoning up his fastball and changeup really well. 65% zone rate on sinker in this game, 58 on changeup. So that's interesting. Topped out at, not sure what he topped out at 94.8, average 93.1 on the four seam, 92.1 on the sinker. The changeup is 8 miles an hour down. All right, so let's just get in and watch it. Here it is. Jake Bennett making his major league debut against the Houston Astros tonight. And looks like it's going to be a nice outing, so let's check it out. First batter is Carlos Correa. Oh, yeah, definitely a little bit of a low slot thing going on. So let's see what happens here. He gets his first out on a sinker. So four-seam and then sinker. Correa pulls it, kind of hits it with weird contact right out to Jarren Duran. That's the first out of his major league career. Now, I want to rewind to pitch 1 just to check the metrics on this. Yeah, about 13.3 inches of vert, 8.2 inches of horizontal break. Let's see where he sets up on the rubber and everything. Let's get a feel for this guy. All right, right smack in the middle of the rubber. Let's see the stride direction. Basically linear, a hair closed, just a hair. And he goes from a very tall windup into what I would say is a, I don't know, what do you guys think? Three-quarter, low three-quarter slot. First thing I noticed here is also the extension number way over here in the top right. 7 feet of extension. That's well above average. So Whatever his velocity is, which this one was 93.4, it's going to play up a little bit. To the batter, the perceived velocity is going to be a bit higher with 7-foot extension, probably well over 94 is what it's going to feel like. It's a low spin rate on the four seam, 2039 RPM. And that's about it for the first one. And then on pitch 2 here, this sinker that he gets him out with, this sinker that he gets him out with, the shape was 6.3 vert, negative 16.6. So I guess with the low arm slot, that is to be expected. He's going to have a lot of east-west movement, meaning pitches going left, pitches going right. All right, so that's the first batter. Second batter up is Yordan Alvarez. First pitch, fastball strike, pours it right in there. You can see the delivery. We'll get a good look at that at the tail end. Kind of slow and steady with a long reach out in front. I bet if he had a shorter stride, he would probably have even more velocity, but the extension's kind of playing up and it looks very comfortable and looks like obviously he throws a ton of strikes. All right, here's a fastball that just is above the zone, attempt to strike out Yordan with the fastball. Yordan is able to hang on there, but that was really good execution with that pitch. Now he's going to go back to the sinker on 1-2 in, and ends up being an accidental backdoor sinker for the strikeout. Hard to tell from the camera angle, but that ball went 16 inches going from right to left on your screen. Really hard to tell because obviously it looks on our angle like it's going left to right. But believe it or not, that ball checked back 16 inches coming back to the corner. Really interesting catch by Narvaez, and he gets him. So in this at-bat versus Yordan, it's four-seam, sinker, four-seam, sinker. So using the two fastball approach here early, each batter has seen both versions of his fastball. And he's throwing about 93 to 95 at the moment. All right, third batter up is Isaac Paredes. All this guy wants to do is pull. So let's see how they attack him. First pitch, fastball up for a ball. Yeah, this ball is going to get on you. It's not that fast, actual. In reality, it's only 93.3, 94, 95. I mean, it's fast. But for modern standards, no. Oh, there's the first look at the changeup. Ooh, and he completely whiffs it. All right, so changeup. This is the pitch he's obviously known for. Yeah, and this has got a lot of break in both directions. It's got even more extension on the changeup. So -12 going left and -2 going down. And then I mentioned 85.5. Oh, it's about 9 or 10 off right here. So let's get a good look of how he throws this changeup. Yeah, really good drop. What height did that come out on? It's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like bottom rail. And it just gives out. All right, just for fun here, let's go watch him from the first base side on both a fastball and a changeup and see if we can detect anything. Of course, we're going through this guy's legs. But that's one, and here comes the changeup. Maybe a little bit, but obviously it's a good pitch for him. All right, I know I'm getting a little lost in the weeds here, but we'll check the delivery out more later. All right, so really nice first changeup we see there. He's going to try to double up on it now to Paredes. Really good execution again, below zone. That's where you want it. Now he's going up with the fastball. Yeah, so you can tell the fastball plays. I guarantee he's got somewhat of a low release height. So it's the low release height plus the extension, plus, decent velocity, especially for a lefty. It's that low slot plus extension double whammy that's going to make this ball play really up in the zone with a very steep, I would imagine, well, very flat, I should say, vertical approach angle, which is the angle at which the ball enters the strike zone. All right, changeup coming again. That's the bread and butter. Another good execution, but this time a take. Pretty good at bat by Paredes. He's throwing almost everything where he wants to. Even on 3-2, he gets back in the zone with that changeup, and now he's going to come to... Ooh, they almost get him with the front door sinker accidental. They do challenge, but it's a ball, and that's his first career walk. So honestly, I think that's just a great at-bat by Paredes. So man on first with 2 outs. Here comes Christian Walker. First pitch, fastball, perfect up and in target. Great pitch there, strike one. The fastball definitely plays faster than the velo. You can't look at his velo and say, oh, he's not a hard thrower. No, he's a hard thrower. The ball gets on the hitter. There's that changeup again. He pulls it, but you can see changeup's consistently down, and he has feel for it. Here's another one. That's the first flyer. Of course, I say that, and then he throws a flyer. So 2-1. Now he's coming back with the fastball. Tries to go up in, misses up above, and now he's 3-1. Challenge heater coming. Perfect pitch, huge swing, but perfect pitch that beat a fastball hitter. And now 3-2, they're going to try to make that pitch again. And he pulls it in. So 2 walks. I mean, this guy's averaging less than 2 walks, right around 2 walks per 9 for his entire minor league career. So interesting. But I think it was more so some pretty good at-bats and maybe a little bit of overthrowing that at-bat. All right, let's see how he works through that. It's going to be Jose Altuve coming up. First pitch, changeup. Nice recovery, strike 1. Very nice changeup. Here's the curveball. First look at that. 80 miles an hour. You know, interesting for a guy who's got a low slot. Looks like he climbs it a little on the curveball, which you would think to be able to create negative vert. Typically, you got to be above the ball a little bit. So it looks like he is a little bit here to get to that -7 number. But anyway, there's the pitch. Pretty good pitch to hit, but Altuve's off of it. And he's going to jump ahead 0-2. A lot of straight down movement. Kind of an interesting pitch to have from that arm slot, to be honest with you. All right, 0-2. Here comes the 4-seam up. Super high. Kind of a bad target there, non-competitive target. Now they go back to the changeup. Had him out front, even though that was a mistake middle. Now back to that curveball. He's going to try to bounce it. You could tell Altuve's still looking for fastballs. And then another curveball again. This time they try to go further back foot. He ends up chopping it. So Altuve took really bad hacks at the changeup, that whole at bat, and he works through that against the future Hall of Famer. Changeup's got very low spin, and it's kind of slow, but it's got an interesting movement. You know, it's a lot of drop with not a lot of break one way or another. So that's going to look awfully weird on a movement plot where his sinker's going to kick way out to the left. With, you know, east-west movement. I find it interesting that his curveball doesn't have that. So, all right, pretty good first inning despite the 2 walks, and we're on to the second inning. Yenyer Diaz, first pitch fastball in, just misses, and now he's going to double up. Again, he kind of pulls it in, really weak contact and a sketchy play, but ultimately a nice play by Marcelo. Got it on the hands there, 66 off the bat. He's definitely got a little bit of left to right action, you know, horizontal approach angle working. Let's see where his hand is relative. Yeah, I mean, his hand's pretty far outside. You know, you think about where the hand is relative to the mound. You know, he's a good, releasing it a good, over a foot, you know, left of the rubber. So it has to track back this way, no matter what he does, even though the sinker's the majority of his movement. This does kind of, you know, and the Red Sox have a lot of this. I can compare this guy a lot to Peyton Tolley. He's not throwing with the same velo. But, you know, it's a very similar effect. Left to right, major extension, and, you know, a low enough release height where the ball plays, you know, when you go up in the zone, it's going to play really, really flat and be hard to get on top of it if you're a hitter. So that's the effect of that fastball. You see it right there by Jamin Paredes, and there's 1 out here in the second. All right, here comes Cam Smith. First pitch, sinker, right down the middle. Nice pitch. Change up off of that. Also a nice pitch. Do we get a good look at the grip here coming out of the glove? Yeah. Can we get any closer? Looks like a traditional circle, probably a 2-seam orientation on a traditional circle. But anyway, nice sinker, and then a nice changeup back-to-back for 2 called strikes, and he's up 0-2. Gonna go change up below zone here. Misses in zone, fouled off, and now 4-seam up top for a strikeout. So really good sequence there. A bunch of low stuff, and then a really good uphill fastball. We talked about how it's going to play uphill. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, it's only 11.6 inches of vertical break, but man, it's crazy how the longer you watch baseball, the less that seems to matter, man. It's about location and about angles. And like he's doing the angle thing. He's got the low release. Ball goes up. Really hard to get on top of that. See you later, Cam Smith. All right, next batter is Matthews. First pitch, sinker, drills it in there for a strike. So very good fundamentals here in the second inning. Goes with another sinker and does give up a hit on a little ground ball the other way. That's going to happen. Actually, a pretty good approach by the batter. You're going to hit a ground ball off this guy, go the other way. Wow, he hit that 110. That did not feel like it. But all right, man on first, 2 outs. And he's going to lock horns with Harris here. First pitch, sinker down in, banged off the foot. That was a very good location. It's about all the batter could do with the left-on-left sinker. Bang it off your own foot. So 0-1. And I feel like in this, he's had very good command here in the second inning. All right, sinker again. In off the plate gets the swing. So not trying necessarily to do that based on this targeting. But man, very happy accident. And you can see he can't quite get to that despite his best effort and it only being 91. All right, 0-2, changeup, left on left. Wow. Changeup's really the bread and butter when you go to it immediately left on left. Way early on that, I would have stuck with it. Now they're going 4-seam up. Man, really good pitch. Runner steals second. No swing. Change up again. Down below. Man, just touches it. All right, curveball. Get it to dirt. Looks like he does, but non-competitive. Great stop by Narvaez. Now back to that changeup. He could really be throwing a sweeper. I haven't seen anything like that yet. All right, sinker coming here. At this arm slot, you would think. Bangs it off his foot again, and then he's going to finally get him out with this changeup. 9-pitch at-bat. Unbelievable at-bat. Very weird at-bat by Harris. But he does get him to hit a very awkward ground ball. So very awkward swings early. That guy, Harris, that's one of the weirdest swings you'll ever see. What is this swing? Sorry for the detour here, but what the hell is that? I'm not familiar with your game, Dustin Harris, but you have a weird hack. All right, that's it for the second inning. On to the third, back to the top of the order. Carlos Correa, sinker in, ball 1. He flew out to left on a sinker the first time. Changeup coming now. Swing and miss right down the middle. So that's very deceptive changeup. And then 4-seam. There's the home run. So that's the first run he allows in his big league career. It's a fastball. It's basically a mistake because you can obviously tell he was ahead on the he was on fastball timing with how far ahead he was on the previous changeup. But not just that, it's also just a location mistake. If he gets it up, he's probably a little more protected. But yeah, I mean 109 at 40, and the reason why it's 109 at 40 is because this is about, this is about as center cut as you can throw a ball. All that being said, even though it's a mistake and there's other things he could have done, I don't really fault him. Solo shots don't beat you. As a starter, it's fine. Good swing by Carlos. All right, Jordan. You know what? I love it. Comes right back in the zone with a sinker, earns himself a 1-pitch out. Jordan smashes that right in the ground, comes right back with the sinker. So, good job. Good job not shying away from the zone after the homer. Next up, Paredes. Sinker strike. So, fundamentals have definitely been locked in after the first inning. Curveball. Paredes swings it pretty good right there. That might have been a home run in a bunch of ballparks. Yeah, 105.3 at 26 gets saved by Fenway. Ends up only being a single. He just made the mistake of throwing it into a Paredes hot zone. This breaking ball kind of just sits there for him. He's got very slow bat speed, but he's trying to pull everything. And honestly, it's not even a bad location, but bad location in this circumstance, obviously. So that ball was hit hard. Still don't fault him. He's just out there pumping strikes. And, he doesn't know, you don't know yet how your stuff's going to play against everybody. But interesting. Good swing there. All right, next up, Christian Walker. They worked him up in quite a bit the first time. There's the changeup way out in front. Changeup's looking really, really like a plus pitch. I can agree with another great one right there. I can agree with the scouting grade. This is a 65 changeup. Changeup there, and that's going to be a double play. So, yeah, ground ball is going to be a big part of his game with the sinkers and the changeups. I mean, man, being a left-hander, he's probably going to be a little hard to steal off of. You see the little bit of a half step there. And then, yeah, he gets the ground ball he's looking for with triple changeup. So really nice job. Was able to work Walker in the first time. That opens him up for changeups the second time. Double play. So an interesting inning. Gets clipped for the home run. Could have been 2 home runs, but ultimately pounded the zone. Got a double play. All right, fourth inning, and Mr. Altuve got him out with a curveball that first time in that long at bat. So 4-seam up ball, and then right to the sinker. doing a really good job of alternating between the pitch types there on the fastball. This is a good swing by Jose. I would wager that this is a hit majority of the time. So again, he's just trying to pound strikes. You can see how, you know, good hitters are going to hit some balls hard off this guy for sure. At times, but you know what? Like his floor is going to be very high with his command. He's got really good control despite that first inning. It was also just great positioning by Rafaela. All right, here's a cutter. That's the first time we've seen one of these. 84-2, basically a gyro slider. So this is basically his gyro slider. He's going to use it. Looks like first time we see it here in the fourth. He debuts it just to steal strikes. It's the only pitch he has. No, I mean, his changeup's around this speed too, but either way, he steals a little strike with a baby cutter there. 0-1. Now he's going four-seam up off of that. The velo has definitely been declining. He's been 90, 92, I'd say, the last inning or so. There's a curveball below. So the curveball's not like, I really like the shape, but it's not vicious. So I have to grade it well below the changeup. Anyway, there's a hit on a changeup. This one just didn't have the same dive as the others, and honestly, it's just a pretty good hard hit swing by Diaz. So man on first, one out. Here comes Cam Smith again, right back to the changeup, looking for that double play out in front of that. Yeah, the changeup's looking like a really good weapon. It's all about how many strikes. I think it's what I'm kind of learning here in the early going is it's both fastballs are good and the changeup's good. The question is, how good is the curveball against major leaguers with it being low spin? I actually like the shape, but we have to find out if that's going to play. Cutter seems like it's a pitch he's reluctant to throw. He just threw one there, 2-1. Here's a wow, he's going to get a double play out of this. So he just goes fastball. He just goes with his bread and butter, sinker down the middle. Check swing, miracle double play. So he's had 2 innings ended on double plays, and this one's truly a miracle. I mean, he doesn't even mean to swing here, and he lines it right to Contreras, who either way, if he catches it or not, it's a double play. These guys are smiling at each other, these dudes. But what a weird play. This is a challenge. 3-1 sinker down the middle is going to result in double play. So very fortunate there. Yeah, so again, back to what I was saying, and we'll get into more of it in takeaways, but I guess it's about how are the breaking balls going to actually play, and how much can he use them to keep them off of the fact that he really wants to throw you a changeup when the chips are down, or a fastball up with that four seam from the low angle. All right, 0-2 off breaking ball changeup. Now another breaking ball coming here. That's down, pretty easy take. Now they go right back to that changeup. Bangs it off his foot. Now they're going to go four seam up. He doesn't throw a lot of four seam down, which I think he could benefit from for freezes, especially when they have easy takes down. Also, I think his backdoor curveball could be effective top shelf, but he doesn't quite get it on this one. I mean, they're trying to go down in. I don't know. Sweeper, you would think would become part of the program at some point from his arm slot, but I don't know. Since it hasn't happened yet, it makes you wonder. Sinker up and away, foul ball, and then he's going to get him with that four seam. Let's see if it's right above the zone or where it's located. Yep, up and away. I mean, the fastball up definitely plays for this kid. There's no doubt about that. So that's one out in the fifth. Second batter here in the fifth is, it's Mr. Harris again, who had the really weird swing in the long at bat in the second inning. All right, fastball up, ball, sinker in, pulled foul. He's gotten this guy firing at pitches off the plate in, so they'll probably stay there. Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, and once again, he's firing off the plate in. So in this situation, if you're pitching, you're either going something way off to the other side of the plate, or you throw like a changeup off that line and try to throw it at his back foot and see if he'll swing at that. So let's see what he does. They go curveball. So it's going to be curveball way away is going to be the call. That target's where he should start it. He actually doesn't get it far enough away, and that's why it's a hit. I don't understand the targeting there. He just told him to throw it down the middle. I need this pitch over here. You got this guy in swing mode. He's firing at pitches up in here. But then, man, Narvi gives the target kind of right down the middle in, and that's kind of what he does. I don't love it. All right, base hit. So man on first, 1 out. Top of the order comes around. Correa did homer the last time, so let's see how he goes at him here in a big spot ish. Big, probably. He's trying to fight through the 5th here. Sinker in, strike. So you can tell that sinker's a little deceptive too. Guys are bailing on that, and that's in the zone. Change up down, not even a flinch. That's why I think 4-seam down for freeze could be effective. Sinker down, not a flinch. So Correa's got him. Correa's trying to see him up. Sinker again. It's available if you stick one on the bottom rail. Nope, 3-1. Sticking with the sinker. I like Narvi because I think Correa's all on the 4-seam. Man, that's crazy. He didn't hit that. Because that's a sinker and he's under it. Now I'm thinking 4-seam up after that swing. 4-seam up or change up, anticipating him speeding up. Let's see what they go with. They go back to the sinker. Just misses it. I think he would have been under the 4-seam for the strikeout. Either way, it's a fly out. Correa just comes off that just a little bit, and he gets the 2nd out of the inning. Man, that was kind of a sketchy at bat, don't you guys think? That was a lot of there's some challenges in there. All right, last batter is Jordan. So he gets the top 2 in the order 3 times. And it looks like he's going to get Jordan out every time. Sinker away. Here comes the changeup. Swinging strike. The changeup's plus. No doubt about it. Big league hitters are letting us know. And now sinker off the plate in, gets him to swing at it. Backs up Durbin, 1-hopper over to Contreras. Also, lefties are definitely, he might not punch a lot of their tickets because his spin's not his game. But, man, we saw a whole bunch of swings versus lefties off the plate in. And this is from probably the best hitter in the world at the moment, Yordan Alvarez. So that's pretty impressive. And now I guess we're up to takeaways. But before takeaways, we should rewind to the first inning and just get a really clean look at his pitching delivery from both sides. So here is first base side, Jake Bennett right here. All right, so let's see here. Pretty traditional, pretty simple, very upright through the leg lift. Does do like a little bit of a curl back. So as he's drifting, there's also some counter rotation. Torso a little bit, lead leg. Then it's a very long stride, but he does it with pretty level hips, and it's very under control. Head doesn't move a whole lot at all. Look at that head. Head staying right on line. So then, like I mentioned before, he'd probably throw a little harder with a little bit of a shorter stride, but he gets way out there and gets that incredible extension. Also, I, for one, kind of like it because I don't think that he's chasing velocity the way other guys are, but yet this ball's going to play and get on people because of his size. So I like the delivery. I like it a lot, actually. And I think it's repeatable, and I think it's something that you can stay healthy doing. And it should give him a good shot. I really like that a lot. All right, from the other side, do we see anything interesting from over here? Not really, but it's very simple. It's very under control. It's very simple. This leg kick is the only thing that he really does that's a little bit unorthodox, but I've seen a lot of people doing that too. It's the swing the arm back type of leg lift, which, honestly is pretty nice. I even like his takeout of his glove. It's long, but it's not excessively long. And then at foot strike, his arm is fully up, right? We talked about that on a couple of our other videos. The arm's fully cocked right here. The angle's good. This foot's fully weight bearing at this point. So a lot of people seem to think that's important. I've seen people get away with being a little late. You don't want to be early, but you like to be on time and certainly not too late. So, all right, that's it for the delivery. Now we're going to go back to looking at his pitches again for a second. The changeup is really, really good, guys. Like really good, really, really good. That alone and the 2 fastballs, you can see why he's been who he is. Lack of walks, very good fundamentals with the count control, He throws both fastballs at any time. The only thing that I thought he didn't do enough of was throw down with his four seam. I think that he'll grow into that once he starts to learn about how hitters in the big leagues conceptualize swings versus takes. Picking out an area and not deviating from that area. So we saw Correa with some comfortable takes below the zone. In the future, he'll be able to read that and expose that. But that fastball up, super plays. No doubt he's got a low release height. The arm angle is going to be pretty, probably in the 20s. So I love that. I love that because that doesn't really, his IVB doesn't matter as much, induced vertical break on his fastball. When the ball's playing up, it's going to be great. On the four seam, he did get 3 whiffs on 9 swings. He uses it well up in the zone for that chase when he needs to. Now, the sinker's not built for whiff, but you saw the effect on the lefties. I mean, he killed lefties with it. He threw it 45% versus lefties. It was his lead pitch versus lefties. But he also threw 16 versus righties, and I think he'll be able to backdoor sinker guys. I think he'll be able to use it to keep him off the four seam. And then on top of that, it's all just an effort to not overexpose his best pitch, the changeup. So the changeup today averaged 4 and 12, which I like because it didn't, I don't like when the horizontal break of a changeup and a sinker are exactly the same. So I'm glad it's less. I think that's a good thing. It got 6 whiffs on 17 swings, but this is going to be a good pitch on contact and for whiffs. The biggest questions for me moving forward with him is how effective will his breaking pitches be in the big leagues, particularly this curveball, which has an odd shape to me. It's got a ton of depth and not a ton of horizontal break, which to me is a little weird because of his arm slot. You would typically think he would have something really big east-west, so you might see a sweeper coming. I like that this pitch exists, but the reality is we don't know if it's going to play yet. In this game, it got 0 whiffs on 6 swings, and he doesn't throw it a ton for a reason, right? So that's a big question. He flipped a few of these very slow cutters, which are really gyro sliders in there. So I just don't know what the evolution of the breaking pitches are going to be, and being that he's so low spin, there's a world in which he's not going to get a lot of strikeout in the big leagues unless it's four seamers or freezes or changeups below. But then you got to really execute. All that being said, I think he can really execute really well. I mean, the walk rate's always been good. I know he had a couple walks in this game, but overall you could see that he's going to be able to throw strikes consistently, and I like the big body. And I think I'm pretty optimistic on him. I think he's a guy who could work deep into games. I'd like to see how he behaves a little bit more with guys on base over time, and some adversity situations, and obviously not being able to pull a strikeout out of his bag probably limits the ultimate ceiling of him, but no reason to think that you don't have a pretty dependable type of strike throwing lefty here. So that's very exciting. Red Sox have done a very good job with their development of arms as of late. Peyton Tolley, we've seen him when he looks good. Connolly Early is another one. You think about Hunter Dobbins, Richard Fitz, who they had for a stretch. Those guys netted things in trades. Shane Drohan, Kyle Harrison was a guy they had their hands on for a minute and traded him. They've had a lot of pitchers. Cutter Crawford's a success story, even though he's been hurt for a while. Bayo, Houck, those are homegrown guys. Obviously they've seen their stars dim a little bit for varying reasons, but this is just another one. It's another lefty, again, similar to Tolley, but also way different at the same time, right? Actually, in a way, I think this guy's a little bit more of a ready-made, consistent starter than maybe Peyton Tolley at the moment, albeit less electric. But you see how that sinker plays and that changeup plays. So that's Jake Bennett. Bennett, congrats on your big league debut. Nobody will ever take it away from you. Congrats. It's an awesome day. You did a great job. You left with the lead. Let's see if the Red Sox can hold it for you. We're currently in the 8th inning. It's still 3-1. Zach Kelly's done a good job behind him. Danny Coulomb, and now the back end is in. Garrett Whitlock and Aroldis Chapman trying to get the kid his first career win. So thanks for watching this video. If you, this is the, in case you were wanted to see that real quick, it's right there on the box score. That's where we're at. Anyway, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, join the Discord, post it on a Red Sox Reddit, something like that. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. All right, have a good night.